I'm here with Alex and Jordan, and they just got here to the Reason Rally. They're getting in tonight, ready to get a couple hours sleep so they can wake up and go have some fun. And I want to know why you guys are coming to this rally. What is it that what made you say, man, I'm going to spend the money and I'm going to that thing?
The Reason Rally is actually free. It's for everybody.
Well, you spent some money to get here, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of money.
Where are you guys from?
Morgantown.
West Virginia. Okay. So you didn't cross country. And what's the reason for coming to the Reason Rally?
I'll go first. For me, yeah, it's going to be nice to be in the presence of this many people, similar thinking to us, comparable to religious people going to church, being, feeling comfortable, being accepted, and also to promote the idea of free thinking and new ideas. Not to protest anything, not a protest at all, but just to just to be in similar, be with similar thinking people.
Cool.
Myself.
Yeah, because his girlfriend is a Christian, and she loves church, and she finds like a lot of joy and I think comfort going there, and we talk about is there overall benefit for people to go to church? Yeah, in some ways, community is good. And atheists in general don't really have
that community,
the same type of community necessarily. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are religious and non-religious, but we don't necessarily need a place to talk about our non-belief in something. You know what I mean? Like we don't get together.
Well, what would you say to somebody that says, hey, see, this shows that this is a religion. You guys are getting together. You're trying to turn this into a religion. What would you say to somebody? Because I know that's what the Christians are going to say.
To call atheism a religion is really to kind of like misconstrue the historical concept.
It's not necessarily a belief in something. It's a lack of belief in something, and you'd say that about anything, lack in belief.
But would you say it's a belief that God does not exist? Because I could say it that way, just like I could say.
No, I don't agree with that. You could say,
so does God exist?
No.
Okay.
Not in my mind.
Hang on. Okay.
I can't say that for sure, but
right.
So
it's a belief.
Somebody you could say, but it's like saying you don't believe in any other magical thing.
Do you believe in somebody else? He was the god of the
No,
Greeks,
I don't.
I believe.
But I can tell you, not just.
So you're an atheist.
No, I can tell you not just that I don't believe he exists. I know he doesn't exist.
That's not possible, actually.
It is. Okay, let's find this out. Let me start with this.
Let me know how you know that Thor doesn't exist.
You guys don't mind this, do you, though? By the way, this conversation? Okay, good, because I enjoy this. Let's talk about real quick what we know. Out of all the knowledge in the universe, how much do you guys have?
Very minuscule amount.
That's a kind of a broad,
very little, right?
I have a pretty good
I'm talking about all the knowledge in the universe, what the fleas are doing on the dog right now at home. Everything.
That's not that important.
I know. I'm just asking about all that knowledge.
Absolutely nothing, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Very. Let's just be generous and say, hey, we think we've got 1% of all the knowledge in the universe. Is it possible that out of something in the other 99% that we don't have, that something in there could contradict the 1% we think we have?
Absolutely.
In general, no. Because the 99% that we do know has consistently.
Hang on, the 99% that we don't know. We know 1%.
Okay, I'm saying though, we do know that we know that the vast majority of the universe that we're observing follows the laws of physics.
How do we know that? I mean, we haven't observed it all.
I mean, we actually have seen billions of light years away. Actually, we've seen clusters of galaxies of stars similar to the
right. But if we say, I mean, we can say it's acting that way now, but. I mean, I think I'm siding with Jordan here going...
I've had this argument with him, too. The point is we know, like, almost nothing about the universe. We can only, 100 years down the road, a lot of things we know now are going to change, and we're going to, gain more knowledge about it, but...
So is it possible that out of the knowledge that we don't have, the vast knowledge that we don't have, that we might find something one day that would contradict what we currently think we know?
Yeah, it's It's
Yeah,
pretty much a fact that that's going to happen. If you look back,
But you're getting at that there's going to be some sort of revelation that there's a God
Yeah,
that
so-
exists beyond the.
Well,
finish.
Yeah, because it is my position that without God we can't know anything. And here's where I would go, just from simply a logical argument. I would say if we could be wrong about what we know now, then we have to say we can't know anything.
Exactly. That I agree with you completely.
Well,
But-
now you're agreeing with what I just said. If we don't start with God, we don't know anything.
No,
Do
I'm
you-
not agreeing with that. I'm saying,
Okay. Do you
there's
know
no way
anything?
we can know that we know everything, but
Right. I'm
for
saying, do we know
religion-
anything?
Religion is saying that they do know how everything started, why we're here. That
Right.
In my mind, at least.
And you're
That's
going,
what I
hey,
want
you
to-
can't know that.
Right.
You're saying that the God of the Muslims is just not true.
Right.
They're completely all wrong.
A
But
lot.
you don't know that any more than they can say the same thing to you.
Okay, let me put this situation. If I knew everything in the universe, everything there was to know, and I was never allowed to lie, so I know everything and I'm not allowed to lie. If I told you something, could you trust what I tell you? Could you know what I tell you is absolutely true?
No.
But I know everything and I'm not allowed to
You're a
lie.
human being. You're talking about?
No, I'm saying I know everything.
As a
and
human being.
It doesn't matter. If I have all knowledge and I'm not allowed to lie, and I tell you something, Jordan, can you know it to be true?
I don't know if I understand the question. If you are all knowing and you
Yep.
can't lie,
And I tell you something, and I say, Jordan, 2 + 2 = 4. Can you know that for absolute certain if I told you and I can't lie and I know everything?
who says you can't lie? I don't.
I'm just saying if that's the rules, if that's the
By who?
situation,
By
by whatever.
your standards.
Yeah, by whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's always room for speculation. I don't know.
You want to meet Brandon too?
Hey, Brandon, you want to be on
He's
camera?
another free thinker.
Are you okay?
Yeah. It's like,
He just got
My
that-
name's
parked the
my name's
car.
Eric.
They're
Nice to
He's
meet
got a
you.
haircut. He cut
Eric.
it himself.
Huh?
What's the group
Yeah.
called again?
I'm with a ministry called God, Quest, and Creation today.
They're here for the. I saw him asking if they're going to the reason.
I know, yeah.
Oh, you saw that?
I didn't mean
Yeah,
to
it's
fool
like
you.
that.
You're like, yeah, what's up? And I'm like, oh, hey, I need to tell you where I'm coming from.
And then he never asked us what we were. I guess he just knew.
Well,
How'd
what are
you
you
know?
saying?
We're
How did I
actually
know?
Mennonites.
Did you have some sort of sense or something, or how did you?
This is the reason, Raleigh. Why
Oh,
else
the
would you
purple
be
bean.
here?
Why
That's
wouldn't
how-
more Christians
No.
be here though?
Do what?
You don't think?
Oh, there are more Christians
Yeah,
here.
we know.
No,
we know
I'm
the
looking
West
forward to
Part.
just
Baptist
like
church
open
would be
conversation
there,
like
right?
this. That's the whole point of it.
I love that. I mean,
Protest anything.
reason, Raleigh. You got a
Exactly.
reason,
Yeah.
right? That's why I was talking to somebody earlier, and he's like, "Yeah, I got to go," and I'm like, "This is the reason,
Yeah.
Raleigh. Let's talk about this." But anyway,
We're actually all like ex-Mennonites, so we're just
Okay.
kind of pushing
I like your
Yeah,
guys'
just kidding.
approach.
well, that's where here's my, like I said, my position in the very beginning. Without God, we can't know anything, and so if I had all knowledge and I couldn't lie, and I told you something, and you could trust it, couldn't you?
You're making assumptions though.
Yeah, not-
No,
and not
I'm making a
necessarily-
hypothetical situation right now.
That's not how you base
That's
an
not
argument.
true,
Though.
like-
you can't base an argument.
If
on
I
an
knew
assumption,
everything,
saying
you
without
can't
God,
say
you can't know
assuming
anything.
that there's
It's not
no
a
like.
true
Okay,
statement.
assuming there's not.
I mean,
Let's
no,
talk
I
about
was
the
saying that
reality
was
of
my foundation. That was my
Right.
basis. And
Well-
when I asked Jordan, okay, let me ask you, Brandon, right?
yeah.
Brandon, do you know anything to be absolutely certain?
I think there are a lot of things we can know. I mean, as certain as we can be.
Like absolutely certain, like 100% certainty.
Sure. I mean, well, what do you know that's absolutely 100% certain?
Well, you're asking me. I'm asking you
He
the
can't
question.
answer his question with a question. No, I don't.
You
think
see what
that.
I'm saying? Here's the point. Without the God who knows everything and cannot lie, revealing knowledge to us, you said the right phrase, without his actual revelation, then we would all be forced in the boat of saying, we don't know anything. To which I would then ask, how do you know that?
How do we know that we don't know anything?
Yeah, you're making the knowledge claim.
Can I
That's-
ask you
that-
some?
that's
Can I ask you guys a couple
redundant.
questions? You guys are asking us a lot of questions.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. One of the things is why am I fairly certain that you were probably raised by religious parents? Why am I so certain of that? Like almost to the point where
Here's what's interesting.
as soon as I hear you speak, it's almost like it almost makes me look like a mind reader or something that I would know that.
No, because I agree with you, and I ask Christians this all the time. I say, hey, let me ask you something. If you were born in India, would you be a Hindu right now? And they'll say, yeah. I say, hey, would you?
I've asked people the same question. Nobody's ever said that.
Really? They say that to me. They're like, well, I say, hey, you're born in India. You're raised by Hindu
They say they
parents.
would have a completely different religion than what they have now.
Yes, which blows me away because this is
I've never
Christians.
heard that, 'cause I've asked the same question, and I like that question. I think Bill Maher.
Yeah, it's a great question because I say, hey, would you? And I've had a lot of people say yes, and I say, would you be a Hindu out of ignorance? And they say, oh, well, yeah, I would be. And then I say, because I want to challenge Christians on, do they really know why they're a Christian? I say, well, then how do you know you're not a Christian out of ignorance?
Yeah, I don't know. That's
What
I've
I don't
never heard
understand is
anybody.
if there really is a
that.
God, let's just say for a second, what if there really is a God? Okay, what makes one group think that they have the authority to be His spokesman over the millions of groups that claim the same thing? I mean, what proof do you have that you have one shred of evidence that your group has some sort of connection to this God? I'd like to know.
I don't believe just my group has some sort of connection to this God. I believe everybody does. Because the scripture teaches everybody knows God exists. Because without God, we wouldn't know anything.
So why are you a Christian?
Because it's true. Because Christianity is the truth.
Why aren't you just a believer? And why don't you just try to get everyone into one big group of believers?
Well, because a Christian is somebody who follows the teaching of Jesus Christ, right? I mean, that's Christian means little Christ. I mean, so I am saying, hey, I am trusting in the work that Jesus did on the cross, His death, burial, and resurrection for salvation. And so that's...
So you really, just tell me, so you really believe that there's been a human who has transcended death before on this planet?
He was 100% God and 100% man, yeah. But hang on just a second.
So
First of all,
hard to
you got to tell
even
me,
really-
before we even talk about that, you got to tell me if you know anything. Because so far I'm getting that you don't know anything. And if it's your position that you don't know anything, then you can't make any claim.
Neither can you. That has nothing to do with whether or not God exists. I mean, that's... You're basing your whole argument on a false dichotomy. Like,
I can agree.
Either my God...
You're seeing it, aren't you?
The point that we really...
If you're forced into saying you don't know anything, then you can't even make they can't even make these claims against Christianity.
You're missing something, though.
No. Here's the thing I agree with him on. We can't really say that we know anything about this vast universe that we live in. We really know very small.
We can say an immense amount about it.
I know, but
you're forgetting that the laws of physics, as we know, have applied to the vast cosmos.
How do you know that?
Okay. Why are there galaxies? What makes a galaxy?
No, I'm asking you how you know.
Gravity brings
how do you know that?
Together. That's why our galaxy from afar is separated by vast amounts of mainly non-matter material, right?
But you know what I'm going to ask you?
So that same thing
how do you know that?
We're viewing billions of galaxies like our own across the cosmos.
I guess I should retract. Say it's not that we don't know anything. I mean, we do know a lot for.
It's a logical fallacy to say, if I said the speed limit outside here on that road is 35 miles an hour, but I might be wrong. Do I know what the speed limit is? If I say I could be wrong, do I know what the speed limit is?
What he's trying to say is that.
Well, hang on just a second.
Trying to say is if there's a lot of uncertainty about the details, a tremendous amount of uncertainty about the details. But do you think in a million
years, any certainty at all?
It's going to change that we live in a galaxy? No. The galaxies we're observing are happening in real time. This is the reality.
I think Jordan is seeing where I'm going with this because, okay, let me just go again here. If I said...
No better proof for the existence of God.
If I said, check this out, if I said the Sears Tower is 1,527 feet tall, but I could be wrong, do I know how tall it is?
There is an actual number to it, yes.
I know. Do I know how tall it is, though? If I say I could be wrong, do I know how tall it is?
You're making an educated guess.
Do I know how tall it is? This is the question.
I don't know if you know, but there's an answer to that.
Okay, if I tell you I could be wrong, that's my phrase. I say it's 1,517 feet tall, but I could be wrong. Jordan, do I know how tall the Sears Tower is? If I say I could be wrong?
What you're getting at is someone says, like Dawkins might say, there's no God as far as I know, I could be wrong. Okay, so
no,
I'll say the same thing about, is there a teapot flying around the moon?
It's Alex,
no,
right?
I don't think there is. I don't think there's a teapot flying around the moon. But I could be wrong. It's possible.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
You can say that about anything.
Hang on, okay. So we could say that about anything.
Yes.
So I'm not talking about.
For believing, then.
But you guys are jumping to something else. I'm trying to just slow down here. I'm saying that with all knowledge. is it possible that we could be wrong about all knowledge? I mean, if we've got this tiny, minuscule, but it's possible.
I don't understand.
But
so
why
maybe
does
you're
that
saying
make
that we're in a
your
universe, we're in a universe where the laws are different outside of it, because all we know is that the universe.
You're not following me, man.
Yeah, I know.
How does this help your case? That's what.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. You keep going down the wrong trail, and I'm going, hold it.
Yeah, I mean, why don't
here
you
it is.
to your point
Out of all the knowledge in the universe, let's pretend that every single one of these little things that falls off a tree, if we collected all of them around this whole parking lot, that represented all the knowledge in the universe.
Okay.
And we think we've got that much right there out of all the knowledge there is to know. Here's my question. Is it possible, out of all this stuff that we don't know, that something in that stuff could contradict that little bitty bit right there and show that that was wrong?
No.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
No, not fundamentally.
So you do believe in truth, absolute truth. You're saying we could absolutely know something for certain.
What I'm saying is if this information, the basic fundamental aspects of this information and this amount of data,
That's how much we've got.
happens to apply to every other piece of data.
Well, hang on, you don't know
Fundamentally,
that. You don't know that.
We do, though.
No, you don't.
I'm talking, if
How
you're
do you know
applying
we
your,
don't,
if
though? If you're saying that we don't,
But
then
we
how do
do.
you
We've
know?
never been
But
in
we
all
do,
time
though.
and
But
all
we do,
space.
though.
And
we know the four forces of nature. We know that.
how do you know they apply everywhere at all times throughout all space?
We know because
You assume that.
No, actually, it's actually we formed hypotheses to predict that.
Well, dude, you weren't here a million
What are you
years
trying to say?
ago.
Like, are you saying that the other galaxies are made of different types of
It
matter?
actually
I wanna
doesn't
say-
matter if you were here a million years ago.
I need to retract. It's not that we don't know anything, but we know a very minuscule amount, and the only way that we can advance and learn more is to base it on experiments and what
process.
we can show and prove.
But hang on, scientific process assumes the uniformity of nature.
Not
Absolutely
necessarily,
not.
No.
You couldn't do science if it didn't.
Absolutely.
You can't say, you know what, today water boiled at 212 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level. I think it's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm not sure. You don't build cars and send people to the moon. And
but yeah, you can say that for sure. There's certain elements, there's properties of those that you can verify and do and prove over and over again. And then that's the way a theory comes intact. Experiments done, evidence, a process, and that's when you say you accept that as a law.
Is change a property of the universe?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you know water is going to boil at 212 degrees tomorrow?
I guess you don't. You're right, but
and that's what I'm saying.
But why not? Why just assume it's going to change, or why not just?
Why would you have any belief that it wouldn't?
If change is,
why would you have any belief that it wouldn't? Using our example, would water
I
boil
don't.
at 212 degrees?
But
why would you have any reason not to?
Well,
why
here's
would you go
my
out of your
thing.
way to say there's no way we can tell for sure tomorrow, which means there's a God? Like, it's a very quick
if
jump.
I don't, hang on, listen to this.
Right.
If I don't have all knowledge, then I could be wrong. I have to have all knowledge in order to say I'm not wrong.
Do you need all knowledge
You're
to
just
know that
scared of
two
going
fairies
hell.
are wrong?
I mean, just
do you
say
need
that.
all knowledge? Okay.
Yes, you do. Because
Do
if
you
you
believe in fairies?
No, I didn't say that. You asked me, do I need all? Wouldn't you need all knowledge to know that truth fairies are wrong?
No.
But you've never been everywhere in the universe.
Could there be
Let's
a
put it this
creature
way,
very
like,
tiny?
yeah, I can't say for sure that there is anyone,
Exactly.
but that's no better of a reason to live my life as though they exist
But
than there is for enchanted unicorns.
very good point.
Exactly.
Then
You're making
kissing
my
a frog
point.
will make it turn into a prince will happen.
Right.
I mean,
But you're
it's
believing
so,
in
it's
God
so
with
ridiculous
absolutely no
because
evidence for it.
It has
But
the same amount
the proof
of
of God is that without Him we can't know anything.
But you're assuming that. That's
Like
not
what?
true.
No, what
That's
you-
like
now-
me saying, well...
Okay, well,
And here's what I'm
Hawkins is
saying.
an atheist. Does he
Instead
not know
of,
anything?
I'm not saying, hey, let's look at a bunch of evidence and I think we can conclude God. I'm saying if we don't start there, if we don't start with the one who knows everything and the one who cannot lie, revealing information to us, revealing knowledge to us, we are logically forced into the position of saying, we can't know anything,
Okay.
which is
let's
a knowledge
I really
claim.
wanna
Why
answer my
is
question,
okay?
though.
Well, why is
I really wanna
the
answer my
one that
question.
you believe in the one that we should start with? Why shouldn't we
Right.
start with the one that someone else believes in?
I'm
It's
interested
such
in
a
that
false
too, but
dichotomy. Like,
how-
why
hang
is
on.
your version of the story the correct one?
It's only
I
because of
suspect
what
that it has the
you've been
least
told
amount of
and
merit.
grown up believing.
Now, here's what I would say. First of all, if you want to argue another deity, you have to give up your atheism.
Not even that.
No.
What? We study all gods.
But why deal with something that you don't believe in?
Because you're the one that's asking.
Because here's what's going to happen.
Because our world is dominated by religion.
But here's what's going to happen. If I were to answer the Muslim religion and say this is why Islam is not true, you'd say, okay, what about? And I'm going, hold on. Why answer a whole bunch of things that we don't believe in? That doesn't make sense.
You're the one that's claiming God exists. So yes, it's your job to defend that. I'm saying they're all crap.
To agree with you to say,
for which I have no evidence.
If we all started by saying that we don't know anything, just all started from scratch, saying we don't know anything, how would you conclude that there's this one God that knows everything?
That's a great question.
Yeah, if we all start from scratch, what we would do is see from what's going on around us, what we can show.
Without invoking a revelation from God or anything like that. Tell me how you logically come from scratch to your view.
I'm telling you, it's impossible to come from scratch.
You're automatically assuming. You're automatically assuming. You're circular reasoning it.
Well,
you're saying the reason I can think is because God made me. Well, what I'm saying is, how do you come to think of God without the thought of God? You can't just say that.
And that's why I'm saying, that's why my premise is, without God we can't know anything. Because you said, okay, let's start with hang on, listen to your premise. Let's start at the foundation.
You're wrong. Or that's.
Well, come on. You don't like it when Christians argue like that. Well, then mine is yours.
You never answer my question either.
Okay, hang on.
Reasonable
Jordan, can I even start with the premise we don't know anything?
Absolutely.
Do you know that?
Do I know we don't know anything?
Because to say we don't know anything would be to know something. You can't. I'm telling you, it's impossible to start with that premise, isn't it?
Can we talk about science for just a second? Can we talk about some facts about
science? We don't even know that you guys know anything yet.
I'm in medical school.
How do you know that?
How do you? Because I'm enrolled in the medical school.
If you could be wrong, right, Jordan? We don't know anything. If we could be wrong, then we can't have knowledge. I'm talking about, before we talk about knowledge up here, how do we even know that we have knowledge? How do we know that we're standing right here? How do we know we're not brains in a vat? You guys have heard all these arguments.
Matrix. How do we know we're not?
How do you know?
So we don't.
Join Eric Hovind and Paul Tater from Creation Today with special guest Ken Ham from Answers in Genesis, along with Carl Kirby of Reasons for Hope, Mark Spence of Living Waters, and Cy Ten Bruggencate of Proof That God Exists for the Proof of God Conference in Orlando, Florida, October 12th through 13th. For more information, visit us online at proofconference.com or call toll-free 877-479-3466.